Everybody, whether you're the president of a company or the paperboy, everybody has the exact same amount of time. You and I both have 24 hours a day. No more, no less. The question is, what do you do with your time?
Welcome to Zbooks Successful Authors Podcast. And as you know, reviews for your book are one of the most important milestones of your book's life. Today, I have a very voracious reader and a voracious reviewer. Please help me welcome Larry Froncek from VoraciousReadersOnly.com. Hi, Larry. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
Not bad, not bad. Actually, pretty good.
All right.
I'm glad to hear you after Murphy struck again with our podcast. So, and you're in Washington?
Yeah, Washington State. Yep.
Nice, nice. Okay, so I just recently heard about VoraciousReadersOnly.com. So could you give us a rundown really quick what it's all about and what you guys do?
Yeah, basically what VoraciousReadersOnly.com is, I should say VoraciousReadersOnly.com. It's primarily we're focused on introducing voracious readers, people who like to read a lot of books, with authors who are looking to build their list and get reviews and get some momentum going in their career. And the way that it works is readers sign up. They let us know what general genres they like, and when we do book authors, sorry, take that part out. When we do,
it's all right. I'm here.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So when we contact an author with a newly released book, we say, we'd like to introduce your book to, we do a 20 readers giveaway. We'd like to get your next 20 readers for your novel,
okay,
in exchange for a copy of the book, electronic copy. They'll give you permission to add them to your email list, and so you can send them a copy of the book and then communicate with them on an ongoing basis. So we do right now about 2 giveaways a day for authors,
okay.
And then if the author likes the experience, they like the idea of creating an email list and getting that book into the hands of readers who will review that book. We have a pretty good rate. Usually, an author gives away 20 books. They'll get between 3 and 5 reviews. Shorter books tend to get reviews faster than big, long tomes. Some genres are quicker than others. But
that's understandable.
That's the general idea. And if you like it, then we have a program called the Evergreen program, where every new subscriber for the genre that book appeals to will be offered your book, soon after they subscribe.
Oh, so, interesting.
I'm adding about 40 to 50 new readers a day to the list. So
wow.
If you write fantasy,
how are you doing that?
A couple of methods. I have a really good Facebook campaign. I also get a lot of referrals from other readers. And we get some organic traffic from things like Google and social media. It's a number of things, but I say Facebook and referrals are right now the top 2.
Yeah. Okay. Because I can't resist. Are you running Facebook ads?
Yeah. So I do a kind of a multi-step approach, and one involves things like lookalike audiences, ads that specific target a type of reader just to build an audience out of that. And then I just now started testing a video ad that it cut my cost per click by a third. And I created it using a service online called Lumen 5, Lumen 5.
Okay.
And what that does is you kind of just give it the text, and then you pick a theme and you pick pictures, and it puts together the video for you with a little bit of music. So pretty cool.
That's awesome.
I mean, I think definitely authors could leverage something like that for creating like book trailers or something.
Right.
But it's definitely.
That's why I ask, because go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a neat site. You can use it for free. I would definitely recommend at least playing with it.
Yeah, I was. It's funny you say that, because I'm always ready for a deep dive into Facebook ads, and so I've also noticed I've been doing video ads lately, and it's just amazing getting the clicks down to 3 cents a click, even 2 cents a click, over hundreds of clicks. And so it's. I've heard it before that Facebook really wants you to do video, so maybe they're even giving us better rates on the video ads. But one thing I found out is that a slideshow counts as a video. So if you when you make your ad and you go to make a slideshow, you just upload like 2 or 3 pics, and it will make the slideshow for you, and it counts as a video in Facebook's eyes. So later on, you can retarget people that watched 3 seconds of your video, although it's a slideshow. So I'm just really stoked on that. So that, and any other tips with Facebook or Lumen 5? What was it called?
Lumen 5, Lumen 5.com. That one you just got to kind of play with. In terms of Facebook tips, one thing that I would recommend, and this is one of the first things I did when I started trying to see if there was a market for Voracious Readers only, is take Facebook really likes content that is shared and liked and interacted with, and there's if you could find an image that is funny or has like kind of like an honest truth to it that resonates with the right people, you can definitely get a really good response. So, for example, on Voracious Readers, I'll go to my Facebook page for
okay.
There is
ticket.
There is a quote, a George R. R. Martin quote, and it's of course it's loading up slowly, but it was something like, the reader, a reader lives 1,000 lives, and a non-reader only lives once. And so I targeted that to people who like Goodreads, people who also like Kindle and eBooks and Kobo and various ebook readers, and when I did that, I started to get people who were commenting like, I read a book a week, I read a book every day, tagging their friends. This is totally us. And that post got a ton of exposure. And from that, I was able to create an audience of, quote unquote, voracious readers to, begin building my email list. So, once I got the email list up to about 150 readers, I started reaching out to authors and just if they were interested in it. And there's no shortage of authors who want to build their email list and get people to read their books, because my wife's an author, and I've been on the other side of that where you put in all this effort to get a book ready, and you just want people to read the thing, and try to get them out of it. And so that's definitely been a nice experience. And since that point, I've mostly done about 2 giveaways a day, some days 1. But right now I've got a backlog of authors who are signed up for giveaways through the latter part of September.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's been a real fun experience in terms of interacting with authors, finding out what authors, what they need. I get a lot of, when I first started doing this, I would sign up for every author's email list I could get to, because that was part of the process of figuring out how to communicate with them, is going to their websites. And I very seldom get an email from an author, which I'm on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of email lists. I don't get emails very often, and so right now I'm working on an email for the authors who I've done giveaways for, which is almost, I think I'm over 500 by now, just on like what kind of content can you put into your emails to stay in touch with your readers, because you don't want your readers to only hear from you every year when you have that new book out. It's let's build a relationship
exactly.
with
I find it strange. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and just have the content be of interest to the reader, and try not to default to what writers tend to default to, which is writing about writing, and that's great if you're selling stuff to authors. More power to you. But if you're writing fantasy books and you're trying to get people to read fantasy, to read your fantasy books, don't talk about the art of writing. When you need to get your car fixed, you don't want the mechanic to teach you how to be a mechanic. You just want your car fixed. So it's kind of the same thing. And so I'm working on that right now, and hopefully by the end of the week I'll have that out, and I'll just add that to my sequence of emails that authors get when they sign up for the first giveaway, just so I give them something to help them in terms of building that relationship with their readers.
Right. Yeah, I find it interesting because people or authors and writers, when it comes to writing emails for their list, all of a sudden they get a massive writer's block. And I understand that, because it's totally different than writing your book. And then people get that icky salesy feeling. Oh, I don't want to sell them stuff or make a sales letter. And what do I write to my list? So it sounds like you're kind of building up a standardized email sequence or something, or maybe a course, or just a package.
It's going to be a document that I'll add ideas to, as far as what to start with.
Okay.
It could be things as simple as if you're looking through your reviews of your book, and there's some kind of common things people say that maybe they're just not interpreting it correctly. Like they don't, like 3 or 4 people don't understand why a character did X, but there's a logical reason for it. It's just not apparent to the reader at this particular moment. Maybe it's covered in the next book or something. That's something you could talk about in your email. I think there is a sense of like behind the scenes stuff that readers are interested in. Like, if you wrote a fantasy book, are there certain historical things that played a role in the story? Maybe what are a couple of those things? And you can present it in a way that's still interesting to them without you be talking about how many words you got done today, or the trials and tribulations of being a published author. And so, I don't know if I'll ever get to a point where I'm creating newsletter content for authors. But I think if I could give them a list of like 30 things they could cycle through with their emails, then that will go a long way to getting them started.
Yeah, I hear you. I have several lists myself, and I think at least once a week is a good rule of thumb. But yeah, what do you think about that? How many times should an author mail his list?
So on my list of readers, I have my VIP readers, which are my best reviewers, and I have everybody else. Mm-hmm. And the best readers, if they have every genre selected, they're getting 2 emails a day from me at least. And then everybody else might get one every 2, 3, or 4 days, depending on what they're reading. So I don't see a downside with increased frequency as long as you're not boring. I work in the healthcare industry, and we do content for our doctors to their patients that goes out every single day. And provided that you're giving them value and you're not being boring, they can tolerate frequency. So if an author's out there thinking like, a weekly email, it's too much, so they'll opt out and they'll come to my house and burn me at the stake. That won't happen. And
a lot of
And if you're concerned about people opting out, keep in mind that if you had 100 people on your email list and 10 of them opted out, but you were able to communicate with the other 90 4 times in that month, that's a lot better. That's more communications than if you only contacted everybody once, and certainly more communications than if you never contacted anybody at all.
Yeah, I know that is a fact. In the beginning, too, I was always afraid to hit that button because people might unsubscribe, but I got over that a while ago, and you're absolutely right. You got to prune your list, and you don't want the inactive people on it, actually. So when I send out an email, it's not as scary anymore. I'm like, okay, I know I'm going to get some unsubscribes, but I want them, And I think this is a big hurdle for a lot of authors who are starting an email list. Mm-hmm. So... But I like your style. You went to the forum, you went to the target audience, you validated your product to see if you could get enough interest, and so you made I forgot what they called it, a connector website kind of. You're connecting people, you're connecting leads to businesses, kind of like. And maybe it was Mike Shreve who said it. You want to be a millionaire? Just connect people. Fastest way to the top.
Oh, hey,
yeah. So,
I wouldn't complain if that happened.
Yeah. Well, I'll be watching you. Don't forget me when you're at the top. Okay. So, are you still there?
I'm here. Yes.
Okay. I was afraid it was my computer again. So, are there limitations? So what is your structure there? What did you say? 20? The first 20 are free, and then what? I forgot.
Yeah. So, the initial giveaway we aim for 20. Sometimes an author might get 21, 22. And if they get a really fast response, they got a great cover, they got an awesome blurb. They were able to describe their book in one sentence in a way that is just so enticing that, I get through that 20 opt-ins real quick. I'll contact the author and ask them if they want me to leave it open for the rest of the day. And they might get like 30 or 40, which, isn't a bad thing at all. And so, that's something we've talked about in a little bit, which is, in the movie industry, they call it a log line, but we'll get to that. As far as like the 20, we do the 20 initial, and then after the reader opts in, my system will immediately email the author their name and email address, and then we'll put them on a sequence where they'll get some 3 communications over the next month to, make sure they got the book, make sure they're reading the book, and then, ask them to review it. And we give them a link to Amazon where they can directly review the copy, and also to Goodreads. Those seem to be the two main places that people are willing to put reviews. So we focus on those. That sequence seems to be working pretty well. And then, sometimes an author might miss one, but what we'll do is after the giveaway ends, we'll give them the option where we can send them a file with all the names and email addresses of their opt-ins, just so in case they missed one, went to their spam folder, they deleted it or something, they can still get that book out.
Oh, that's nice. So I didn't understand that actually when I saw your website. So the reader, the author gives you an EPUB or PDF, and you do actually the whole email sequences for them and the delivery of the book also. Well, that's cool.
That one's up to the delivery of the book is up to the author. So most of the time the author is just, give me the name and email address and I'll send it out to them myself. And then sometimes they'll send me the EPUB and Mobi file and a PDF and just say, can you just send this out to my opt-ins when they come in? And then just let me know who you sent it to. And then the rest of them would do, they have like a book funnel or Insta freebie they have a landing page set up already. So we just drive the readers to their landing page, put in their email address, and then they go onto the author's list directly, and they have it set up to send the book out to them. Which for especially if you're doing like an ongoing promotion with me, that could save you a lot of time if you have a system already set up to get that book out.
Right. So one thing that is one of my challenges is kids' books. It's hard to find lists or services for kids' books. They're usually for romance and science fiction. So how does your platform look? Is there specific genres that work better or not at all?
The best genres for me are thrillers and mysteries, fantasy, YA, and romance. Genres like westerns, inspirational, and science fiction aren't as big with my audience. But I think that may be more to do with, my audience is like 99% female readers. Just kind of worked out that way. I'm not 100% sure, why that's the audience I attracted, but that just seems to be how it works.
Maybe it was your targeting in Facebook.
Initially I didn't target by gender. It's just the response came from women, and women of all ages. Young, 18 to 65 plus. The concept just didn't appeal with male readers, and I can scratch my head about it. But if they don't want to sign up, then I'm not going to make them.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah, your website is very graphic. I like it, and you have a really striking young lady with the eyes looking at the call to action. Works really well, and so I was wondering about that because I don't know if that would work better for men or for women, but maybe A/B test that. I don't know.
Actually, I tested several images, and that was the image that got the best response. Which
there you go.
Interesting, but you can never.
Yeah,
I could guess why, but with a lot of anything where there's success, people tend not to be able to figure out why something worked, and trying to like come up with a theory on it. It's kind of just like shooting arrows and then trying to paint bullseyes around where the arrow landed. And sometimes when you do that, you don't exactly
the sharpshooter fallacy. Yeah. A/B tests are always enlightening. That's for sure. And, but also what worked this year probably won't work next year. So, yeah, and I'm always wondering about that algorithm in Facebook too. If your ad really starts working for a specific demographic, if the algorithm switches midstream and makes more traffic for that demographic. I know that there's an automatic A/B testing function in Facebook, and I've done tests myself. And my favorite trick is to make 2 or 3 ads that are exactly the same, and they'll get totally different results. So the algorithm is still pretty nebulous to me. But yeah. Okay. So let's see. What do you want to talk about next?
I touched on the concept of log lines a little bit ago, and we could jump on that.
Right.
When a reader
explain that, because I've never heard of it.
Okay, so in the movie industry,
What happened?
I accidentally pulled my earphones out, tied around me. Okay.
Oh, be careful.
Okay. All right. So.
Yep.
All right. In the movie industry, the log line is like that snappy sentence to tell you what the movie's like. It's Lethal Weapon in space.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay. The hook.
Yeah, and I find with authors, they spend a lot of time doing the writing of the book, and the editing process is this whole beastly monster. And by the time they get done, when it comes to the actual packaging of the book, that kind of stuff starts to get short shrift. And especially with self-published authors, these days they've gotten the memo that you should have a professional cover for your book. So most self-published books, or I should say independently published, or whatever term you want to use, but they have a legit cover. Like it looks like a cover that came out of New York. Has nice lettering, it's got a nice image, it's congruent with the genre. You can look at it and say, I know exactly what this book is about. But not so much when it comes to the blurb and just something to tell you what the book is about. And log line's the term used in the movie industry, and I used to write movie scripts, and that's the term we use in that field. I didn't sell any, so but anyways, go ahead. For example, I did a giveaway for a book a week ago, and I always ask the authors, what are some similar movies or TV shows or authors or books to this book to help readers figure out hey, this is for me. And this author wrote, this book is unlike anything else in existence, basically. And it's there are hundreds and hundreds of books published every day. There's TV shows, there's movies, all this media being created. I find it very difficult to believe that you created this thing that is so unique that you can't even compare it to anything else. And it's just that's lazy. Yeah. And it's how's a reader supposed to know if that book's for them? And, I'd say if you don't have a good way to verbalize what your book is about, I don't think you should have written it in the first place. But let's say you've already written a book, and now you're trying to match it to the right audience. Well, think if you're running an ad on Facebook, what interests would you target? You can't be so general to say this is a fantasy book, this is a science fiction book. There's various subgenres. There's different styles. People have things that they look for and things that they avoid. At the very least, at least if you have some reviews, maybe look at what people in the reviews say about your book. Because sometimes they'll be able to describe your book better than you do. So I think that having that kind of log line for your book is definitely helpful. And then also in the blurb or the summary for the book, I think it might behoove authors to test that. I think sometimes they write too much detail in there. I think there's some kind of like quote unquote rule in fantasy publishing, like you can't introduce more than 3 terms that the author made up for the story in the summary, because once you get beyond 3, the readers just turn off because it starts looking like gobbledygook. And I think a lot of writers don't follow that, and the summary they write is boring, and it's like the reader has no idea what this book is about. I think like my recommendation would be to test like 2 or 3 variations. There's courses out there. There's people who actually specialize in writing these things. Hire them, pay them a couple $100 because it's absolutely worth it. Compared, versus having a book that people aren't picking up, even if it's free, because they just don't understand what it's about.
Right. Exactly. I was talking to Brian Meeks the other day, and he was saying, the copywriting, right? It's something that we don't do enough of. It's super important. The blurb is super duper important. And whatever you do, don't describe your book in the blurb. You don't put your book in the blurb. And you do the log line, and then he has kind of like a formula, then another hook, which is a little bit longer than the first hook, and then test it. So do you have a formula, or how do you test them? Use Facebook ads to test them, or first of all, do you have a formula?
Well, I don't have a formula. It's not really my specialty. But what what I would recommend, like if I was an author using my service, is give me a couple versions and we can test one for a week, one for another week, one for a week after that, and see where the response is. That's certainly a way to do it. If I'm gonna if you're an Evergreen subscriber on my service and you're paying your $20 a month, it might be a good idea to test 2 or 3 different blurbs to see if you can increase your opt-ins.
Yeah. So when you send the email out, is there a picture of the book and the blurb?
Yeah. So we do the title, the author's name, a picture of the book cover on a tablet device, and then underneath that we have the blurb. We have the log line or hook or what it's like, kind of thing, and then beneath that is the verbiage for requesting the book. And so the verbiage is kind of along the lines, in order to be as GDPR compliant as possible, and based on how it's interpreted these days, that's that European privacy thing, is that the reader is requesting to join the author's email list, starting with the free book. So you can't say like you're going to get the book for free, and in exchange you're joining the email list. You have to say you're joining the email list, and it's going to include the book as part of the process of joining the email list. It's just semantics, but somebody voted for this.
Yeah, it's tricky, huh?
And so basically there's a big button in the email, and if you're interested, you click the button, and it directs you. Yeah. It sends your info to the author, and if we're sending the reader to like a landing page or something, that would take them there. Otherwise, it takes them to a thank you page and just lets them know that their info has been forwarded to the author, and they'll get their book within a couple of days.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds like a good deal. And what really sounds cool is the first 20 are free, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the drug dealers formula. So
get them hooked. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah. So, what's your number one tip for new authors or entrepreneurs?
Well,
whichever you like.
For a new author, my number one tip would be to not worry about building your email list until you have a book written and published. I've seen a number of courses that are, while you're writing your first book, you need to build the email list and run all these ads and get people to subscribe because you need an email list to promote your book too. And it's a lot of pressure on yourself to do that. And what are you going to send them? I would say wait till you have the book written, and then do giveaways, to start building that email list up and give reviews. And you can always stop giving away the book in the future. Once you have a big email list and you have other things out there, you're climbing sales. You have ads specifically selling the book. You have people go to your book on Goodreads, Amazon. You have hundreds of reviews. You've legitimized that book. Then maybe you're just promoting book 2 at that point. But I personally would wait until you have the book out before starting to build your email list. And then I would also say is don't ever stop building your email list. Like always be building your email list.
Right.
Whether if you're doing an ongoing promotion with me, I'm going to be doing that for you in exchange for your money, which is it's $20 at this point a month, which is real affordable. And then
cool.
Try every program that's out there. It's as long as you don't have to commit to it for like years of your life or thousands of dollars. You'll never know what specifically will work for you, but I would definitely try a lot of things. And then kind of like another, I would say this is a good suggestion for any entrepreneur, author, whatever business you're in is, every day make sure that you did at least one thing to promote your business. Whether it's you wrote an email and sent it out to your list, you redesigned a offer on your website, you tested an ad, maybe you reached out to some fellow authors about doing a cross promotion. It's if you do if you approach everything with that mentality, by the end of the year you've done 365 things to promote your business. Odds are some of those things are going to work pretty well, and you're going to be in a better place in a year. Versus the business person who's just trying to continuously work on one thing that may or may not pay off, or may not, it might not be worth anywhere near the effort, or it might lead them in the wrong direction. So always kind of be focused on what can you do today. If you just do one thing before you go to bed, even if it's a small thing to promote your business, that's still better than doing nothing. And that's for and that's in the concept of building your business versus working in your business, because it's real easy to get caught into the the minutia of what your business does. So for me, setting
that's
up
the EMyth.
Setting up a giveaway, it's what the business does. That's not me building my business.
Right.
So I'm doing those every day,
right.
But I have to do something in addition to that in order to fulfill my obligation to my business, which is to do one thing a day at least. So and if you only did that half the time, that's still pretty good after a year. So don't kill yourself over it, but definitely try to come with a mentality of you're going to do one thing a day to work on your business.
That's excellent. Thanks for the tip. You, I read the EMyth. Have you ever read the EMyth? Heard of that book? It was all about kind of like what you just said. Are you working in your business or on your business? So that's the one question, right? And like you said, we all have the tendency to work in or on the material instead of actually promoting the business or working on the business. So I that resonates with me for sure. And welcome to the middle of the podcast. You are listening to Zbooks.co Successful Authors Podcast. Remember to get all of your materials to start your authoring career, especially for beginners, at zbooks.co. Thank you for listening, my friends, and let's get back to that podcast.
On that note, it's real easy for an author to kind of be stuck in working in the business, because if you're a writer, your business is writing books, or your job is writing the book, your business is selling the book. And so, it's probably more fun to, punch out your 500,000 words a day, whatever your limit is, versus, do the icky stuff of dealing with, promotions and writing copy and getting that email out to your list, or figuring out what to send your list, or, creating a new ad. You gotta gamify it somehow. It's one thing, or everything you do, it's, or you're giving yourself points towards some kind of prize or something. It's, figure out something that makes that work for you, if the promotion part isn't fun.
Yeah, it's a challenge, huh? So that brings me right to the next question. What do you consider to be the best way to sell books?
I think the best way to sell books is to have a list of people who already like your books, and then just sell them the books. It's if you go on Amazon, there are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of books being released at any given point in time, and there's a lot of noise to compete with. I've seen some authors figure out some mechanisms for selling books online with Amazon or other social media, and I think in some cases those could work. In some cases, you might only be breaking even on that book sale. It kind of just depends. So personally, I think the best book to sell is the second, third, and fourth book to a reader who already likes your stuff. And then it's just a matter of, let's just find those readers and then just start selling them books. And those books are also going to be the most profitable sales.
Interesting. Yeah. So that's the I don't know what you call it, the serial model. First book for free, and then book 2, 3, 4, etc.
Well, if you're doing a series, absolutely. But if you do standalones, same logic applies. People, if they like your style, they'll try your other books. Especially if you've been in touch with them, and they're following you on your social media accounts. They're getting email from you on a regular basis. They liked your first book. They even reviewed it. Chances are they're not going to hesitate to grab your next book, even if it's, not the same characters.
Yeah. But the message is the same. Build that list, huh? Build that list.
Yeah. I think it's the safest way to secure your future, is to have your own list that you've developed a relationship with. I've seen a lot of businesses get over reliant on things like social media, and focus on, I'm not going to worry about building my email list. I'm building up my Twitter account. I'm building up my Facebook page. That was building a Facebook page is a big strategy 5 years ago, and then Facebook decided they weren't going to show everybody who likes your page your posts anymore. And so instead of 100% of the people who like your page seeing your posts, it went down to 50% and 20%, 15%, 10%, 5%, and then now the only way to get them to see anything is either you got to figure out something that's real viral or pay for it, and it's not going to be cheap. Especially if you have a big page. And then if you're at the mercy of an algorithm, you might post something that doesn't pass through a quality filter, even though it wasn't something that you intended. So you also never know
Yeah.
how you get flagged on a system. And I think it's a lot safer if you have your own email
Yep.
list, because if you're using MailChimp and MailChimp decides they don't want you as a
Definitely.
customer anymore, they go out of business. You can take that email list somewhere else and start sending emails out on your own.
Yep.
So that's a way to definitely keep yourself, protect yourself against these third-party companies who they don't necessarily have your best interest in mind, and you don't want to become overly reliant on them.
No. Okay. Yeah. I hear you, man. I mean, if the platform's free, then you are the product. And, they don't, I remember that with Facebook. Okay. That was I didn't use Facebook pages back then, but it's also like when Google changes their algorithm and companies go out of business.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens now with Facebook because of the Cambridge. What was it? Because of the election and the third party that was doing the ads, the Facebook ads, and the Russian meddlers and hackers, and so Facebook's going to be doing some major changes in their advertising rules and terms of service. It's going to be interesting to see what happens if it affects us.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be too bad. I noticed that they took away some of the targeting that I did because Facebook used to have, as far as I understand, at some point in time they purchased a company that specializes in purchase data, and they mix that data in with their big database of customer data, and you could target people who had recently purchased a car or stuff like that. And as far as I understand, that data is being taken out of Facebook right now. And so you might get some alerts that some of the interests that you target are no longer available after September, October. But I think for the most part, unless you're doing like a lot of political ads or kind of sketchy stuff, you're probably okay.
Yeah. Well, getting back to these free platforms, it also reminds me of about, was it 5 years ago when Google and Blogspot said, okay, we're removing all blogs with sexual content or adult content. And then all of these romance and authors and young adult authors and erotica authors got the mail from Google, we're removing your blog, so it was just terrible. And then after there was a big pushback, and they didn't do it, but it was a big wake-up call. So Blogger lost millions of authors and broke that trust, but it's their platform. So just another argument to build your list, because then it doesn't matter what platform it is, you can take your list wherever you go. So I hear you.
Yeah. Also, if you have a name that's not a super unique name, there are other people who have that same name as you, and if they start becoming infamous in the news or in social media, that could get an overzealous employee to flag your account as problematic, and then you have some issues. So all the more reason to control your own email list, because you're gonna help insulate yourself from all that. Yeah.
Well, that's good stuff. So what else? Let's get back to books. What other services do you offer? Do you offer any other services yet?
The only thing I do right now is the Evergreen Offer, which is right now it's $20 a month. Now, if you're listening to this 5 years from now, it's probably going to cost more, but right now it's $20. And for $20 a month, I will offer your book to all my new subscribers for that genre. And right now I'm getting about 40 to 50 new signups a day. For a while it's about 30, but now I tested a new ad and got a better response. So if I'm getting about 40 to 50 new subscribers a day, chances are a third to a half of them read your genre and might be interested in that book. And I priced it so that if you got 40 opt-ins per month, you'd pay 50 cents per opt-in, which is probably better than most people could get with their own advertising campaign, but it's a pretty reasonable fee. And some of the books I do evergreens for. They got that great cover, they got that great log line, that great summary. It's a very interesting book, and they get over 100 opt-ins a month, and for $20, that's 20 cents an opt-in, which is actually no, 20 cents. It's cheaper than that. I got the math wrong, but yeah, so it's real cheap.
Don't ask me. Yeah,
and then
that's cool. Yeah,
if the book doesn't get 40, I'll adjust the monthly fee so that it makes sense. So, if your book's getting 20 opt-ins a month, you're not going to pay more than $10. And what I do with after the initial giveaway, if an author wants to join the Evergreen, we do a 6-month or a 6-week trial where they don't pay for the first 6 weeks because it's going to take about a week to a week and a half to ramp up to get their book in the rotation. And then from that point, I watch their stats for a month. And then before the end of their 6 weeks, I'll let them know, this is about how many opt-ins you could expect per month. This is how many you got. And this is what your fee will be. And so it'll be $20, $10, $5.
Yeah.
Or, if the book got a poor response, I might give some suggestions on, maybe we could test a different cover or log line or summary or something for another month, and let's see if we could do better.
Yeah.
I won't charge them that extra month, but for the most part, most of the authors are getting 40 plus opt-ins a month, and they're doing well.
Nice. So, and you're getting 40 per day right now, 40 new readers?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So where am I?
Nice. That's nice. That's a really good, better than a good start. That's gravy, if you ask me.
Yeah, I know.
So, okay.
We're about a little past the halfway point for today, and I'm at 32. So, I'll probably end up about 50 today because they tend to come in later in the evening.
Nice. So tell us a little bit about your entrepreneur journey. Is this your first website or service?
No. Prior to this, so I've done a lot of work with in healthcare marketing for the past 20 years, and Voracious Readers only. It's obviously separate from that. But prior to Voracious Readers, I managed a video game website and Facebook page, and that's where I got a lot of experience with Facebook marketing. On that particular site, I got it to 100. And let's see, when I got rid of it, 110,000 fans, and I was getting about 1 million reach per month. I was
on the Facebook page or the website.
The Facebook page, about 1 million reach per month off of 100,000 fans. So I was getting a lot of shares, getting a lot of likes. I came up with, different ad formats to, I was getting likes for a fraction of a penny, page likes. And so, that was.
And then you sold it, or you got rid of it?
Yeah, it wasn't. I didn't really have any way to monetize that one. Originally the plan was to drive content from the Facebook page to a website with ads on it. And that's a model a friend of mine had done successfully. But around that time, like once it really started going, that's when Google made some changes to their ad networks. And then it just became unprofitable to do that model. So I just kept it going. Then I found a good home for it with a guy who I had worked with in the past on video game projects. And, he's taking it over and he's building it. And
that's cool.
He turned it into a streaming thing, and he's doing well on Facebook with it. And I think he's one of their first retro streamers or something. And so
interesting.
It was a good experience. And fortunately it didn't cost me too much money. Just a lot of time.
Yeah.
You know, prior to that,
Yeah.
prior to that, I dabbled a couple of ideas, just testing things. And you know, they cost some money and some time, but no more than I was ever willing to risk. And you know, I definitely found ways to get things done. I learned how to use Upwork and Elance. Well, it used to be Elance, now it's called Upwork.
Yeah.
You know, hiring a virtual assistant
Yeah.
and creating systems so that you know, that person in Vietnam who's doing research for you, you know, can do it correctly,
Right.
and doesn't require babysitting, and
Yeah.
and you know, you're getting the content you need. You know, it's I'm just working on outsourcing the more mundane tasks, so you know, I can focus on like the higher end stuff,
Yeah.
of the business, the higher level thinking and promotion, and
Right.
you know,
Right.
it's a never
Yeah. The
ending
EMyth,
process.
you're doing it right. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now, is creating
Yeah.
a system and freeing up more time.
Uh-huh. Interesting. So you mentioned earlier you were also a screenwriter, and then what? You said, no, that's not for me. I'm going to go make a business.
Well, you know, I've worked in the marketing industry for about 20 years, and you know, screenwriting was kind of a thing my buddy and I did for fun on the side, and we thought we got pretty good at it. And you know, we did the things like you know, we had a manager. We found a guy who
Nice.
we went to like this, you know, this pitch fest where you go and you pitch producers and stuff, and we ended up getting a manager out of it because he really liked the idea behind one of our stories. And you know, we were able to use his name to open some doors, but you know, it just didn't work out in terms of getting the right script in front of the right person. You know, I think our best bet was it was a movie we had written about a boy band kind of trying to like get famous again 20 years later on without their lead singer. And you know, we started to get a lot of interest in it, and then it turned out that Andy Samberg had that movie Pop Star coming out. So once that was announced, you know, the interest dried up. So
yeah,
that kind of stuff happened.
Timing.
Yeah, you know, it's just you and somebody else came up with the same idea at the same time. It's like the invention of calculus, I guess. And so you know, and you know it.
And Matrix has been written, so you can't write the next Matrix.
Right. Yeah. And so we did that for several years, and you know, we built contacts, and we learned a lot of stuff, and stuff that's helpful for later on in other aspects of life. And you know, just that particular thing just didn't come to fruition. It was fine, and you know, it was totally worth it.
Cool. Yeah. Interesting. So Voracious Readers is developing into your main squeeze now.
Yeah. You know, it's certainly becoming it's becoming a real company in terms of you know, at some point it may be my primary income source, and it's certainly growing, and I'm building a good following. And I just did some numbers the other day. My current statistics, and this call is sucking up all my internet bandwidth, but you know, I've done let's see, my list right now as of 3 days ago, 10,451 readers. I've worked with 518 authors, and I've given away 33,631 books. So not bad.
Wow. That's cool.
And,
maybe you should put that on your website. I mean, I don't know if you already did, but some people put that up there, like, you know.
Yeah, it's on the bottom of the website.
Interesting.
And so,
you
know, when did I start? I started this in mid-September, so a little bit less than a year ago. And you know, it's growing.
Wow.
I've got a good number of authors who are doing the Evergreen, paying for the ongoing promotions. So, you know, it's definitely going in the right direction. And I think that there's no shortage of growth for it. You know, there's always readers, there's always authors, and there's always new books.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, it's kind of, you're still kind of, it's still just about 1 year old, but maybe related to your entire journey. If you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently?
Um, you know, if there was one thing I would do differently, it would be to have the Evergreen program in place from the start. Originally, my idea my idea was, to do the 20 book giveaway, and then if you want to get more readers, paying for access to the rest of the list. So, I'll give you 20.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get another 400, I could do one big email to my list and have it within a week. That was the original model, but it just didn't sound like it would be as sustainable, and it could be a hit for an author to write a check for a couple $100 up front, and so eventually I kind of settled upon the idea of, well, I'm getting new subscribers every day anyway. We might as well offer them books right away versus waiting until the next cycle comes around where I'm doing another giveaway. And so that's kind of where Evergreen grew out of. And I didn't launch that for the first 3 or 4 months. So really, the Evergreen is it's only been around about 6-7 months at this point. So I would have done that sooner.
Nice.
But otherwise, everything else has been pretty good. I didn't start off with a nice looking website. I kind of just got something up. It looked real, I probably wouldn't have put my email address on it, but readers did, and authors saw it, and they didn't mind it. So, I went with the idea of good is enough to get started. And then, once I got those things, once I got the process set up to get readers and get authors, then I worked on making a nicer looking, fancier website. I originally started on using MailChimp to manage this. And I outgrew MailChimp super fast in terms of what my needs were. Luckily, I had Luckily, I had experience with another site called Infusion. And so,
Infusion, but they're expensive, huh?
They're totally worth it. So,
that's what I've heard. They're expensive, but worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
Infusion soft.
Definitely worth it in terms of having sequences and processes in place to kind of manage the monster of this. I certainly did this with MailChimp. And so, I've had a lot of experience with Infusion, and I was able to translate Voracious Readers only into Infusion pretty quickly and get it up and running. And so there's not much I would do differently, just kind of do things faster. Fortunately, everything's kind of worked as far as as far as things have gone. Like I haven't come up with any ideas that didn't really work out that well. It didn't take me very many ads on Facebook to hit the right combo. I've tried other social medias, and they performed okay. Like Twitter was okay, Instagram was okay. I might go back to them. Right now I'm more focused on Facebook, and I get a lot of referrals anyway. And I'm doing some promotion now with people who already have big social media accounts, so doing like sponsored posts or paid posts on their websites, and I'll see if that works. Nice. I'm also going to start doing ads in email newsletters that target authors, and we'll see how that goes. I think probably over the long term, Facebook and referrals is where I'll get most of my subscribers from. But I'm always looking for other things.
The beauty of going deep.
It's Facebook could not be a thing tomorrow. And so if there came a point where like my Facebook ad stopped working, I have other things I could turn on to make up for that slack pretty easily. Yeah. And, I think that's cool. That's the important thing, not to be overly reliant on any one source of leads.
Yeah. Backup. Yeah, for sure. But I love the story. I mean, I love it because I'm in all sorts of entrepreneur forums. Like, have you heard of the Fastlane forum and the Warrior forum?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
There's something it's really great. I like your style. You made a minimum viable product. You didn't have to have a fancy website. And that's something that really gets in the way of a lot of people. They start with building a website and business cards, and you don't even have a business yet. And you did it really like a textbook, go straight to the audience, make the minimum viable product, and just go for it. I really like that. I really like that story.
Yeah.
And that style. It works.
Absolutely. And, I would also, credit having a supportive spouse. My wife's great.
Yep.
I get insights from her because she is an author. She does write books, and, I get to see what's like on the other side of the curtain. Awesome. She's supportive of my dreams, and I have hers. And, I find that that's definitely helpful. In my other life in marketing healthcare, I deal with a lot of doctors who have the opposite situation where they have a wife or a husband who has no confidence in them, doesn't trust them in any decision, talks down to them over the phone while you're on the line, and that's not a recipe for success. And
nope.
If you're already married, you're kind of stuck with whatever you've got, in terms of that. But,
that's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
if you're in the market, it definitely does help if you have a spouse who's supportive and you guys have.
Be careful, Larry. Your wife's listening. Be careful.
Well, it helps if you guys are both oriented towards synergistic goals. If first reader only does well, it helps her, and if she does well, it helps first readers only. So it's a nice compliment to each other. Yeah,
definitely. I've got a lot to say about that, but this is not my podcast. This is your podcast, and I would like to. We could go so deep with that, but I gotta ask you two quick questions first.
Sure.
Who's your favorite author, and what is your favorite book?
I would say my absolute favorite author is Agatha Christie. She was one sharp lady, and I absolutely love the way that she would mess with readers. You would in one book she'd speculate on like her ideal crime would be one where all the suspects and the murder victim are all sitting at a table, and one person dies and one of them did it, and then a couple books later, like, that would be the book. Or she'd play with the narrator, where it turns out the person telling the story is the killer. Or after she did Murder on the Orient Express, she did another mystery on a train, and Poirot specifically says, "This is not that. This is not everybody's the killer." And I hope I didn't just spoil that for anybody, but I'd say by far she's my favorite author. My favorite book would be Dune by Frank Herbert, and I know it. I love that story. It turns out I live in Tacoma, Washington, which is Frank Herbert's hometown. So that was kind of a cool thing.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Here.
Oh, yeah.
They're just dedicating a big park to him now. It's called the Frank Herbert Dune Park or something. So that's pretty exciting to find out that famous authors from where you live.
Nice. Yeah. Have you read his book, The White Plague?
I have not. Yeah. The only
you might like it. It's before Dune.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out. I've only read his Dune.
It's
book.
huge, though. Yeah.
Yeah, aren't they all?
Yeah, all of his books are huge. You can't even hold them in your hand.
Well, I found with his Dune books that the size of the book didn't really change in terms of the width, but the text just got smaller.
Yeah.
Smaller. So,
yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next on the horizon for you?
With Voracious Readers only. The next thing I think I'm going to do with Voracious Readers is I'm testing new methods for getting new readers. I've got a pretty good system for developing relationships with the authors and with getting them the right content at the right times before and after they do their giveaway. I'm pretty good at that. I've got a steady stream of new readers coming in, but I'm always looking for more and better ways to get more readers. I think that's been my focus for the next 90 days. And then after that, I'm not totally sure. I might add some kind of extended service for Voracious Readers only, because I've gotten requests from some of my authors on other things I could do for them. I'm just not sure what they just yet and what I could scale. I'd like to do a service where I create a newsletter.
I think you can scale for sure.
Well, I mean, a service like, can you create newsletter content for me? I'm just not sure how that could scale for hundreds of authors at the same time. So that'll probably be my next thing, is just figuring out what's next for the authors or the readers. Right now it's just a matter of getting more readers, getting more authors, and just taking anything that I'm doing that is more time intensive and creating a system out of it and delegating it out to someone else.
Yeah, I think, Larry, you can be the next BookBub, because you might already know. Well, first of all, I think you can scale like crazy. You might already know that Amazon has denied the review services access to their API. So, for example, have you ever heard of BookRaiser and these review software and service sites? So what BookRaiser was you would pay them, I don't remember, $30 to $50, and they would get you 100 reviewer leads from Amazon, and they would go to Amazon and look and to see the reviewers in your genre and get their email list. Now they have been denied access now. So when you go to BookRaiser's site now, they say, sorry guys, we're out of business. Amazon kicked us out. And what they did was also, you can't even do it manually anymore. If you go to look at reviews now, you can go look at the reviewer's profile, but if they have even added their email, they won't show it anymore. So it used to be, one of the tricks, you go look at the reviewers and some of them have their email and you can't get it anymore. And so I think your timing is excellent, and I think you can really scale this up because there's a big gap there now. I know of 3 different services. What was the other one? Authors Marketing Club had a software that did that. I think Tom Corson Knowles. I don't remember, but there's 3 different companies that got reviewers, and now they're all out of business because Amazon cut it. So I think you're in a great position, and
I think when it comes to reviews, you have to be really careful. Amazon, they do allow people to review books that they didn't purchase on Amazon, which is that Amazon does not allow that for any other product except books. But you have to be careful.
Weird. Why is that? Do you know?
I think Jeff Bezos is just a book guy. I think that's probably what it comes down to. But the thing with reviews is, it can't be like incentivized in terms of like you can't pay for reviews. The review has to be organic in that you can encourage somebody to review. You can ask them to review. You can give them a link to make it easier to review, but you can't give them anything specifically for the review. So There was a couple months back where Amazon started to take some reviews off, where I believe the reason was that people were saying they gave a review because they got the book for free. Like they did the review in exchange for getting the book. You can't do that. You do have to say you do have to say that you got the book for free. Like I received a complimentary copy from the author. And I think that's more of like a Federal Trade Commission thing than Amazon. But you can't say like there was a quid pro quo kind of thing. So I think that's an area where you want to be careful. It probably won't harm the author too much, but it might hurt the reader if they write reviews and then all of a sudden Amazon doesn't let them review anymore. So I think I'd probably avoid any sketchy services where they're not getting you access to people to review your book on a very clean basis. If they have to use the API to try to steal data, then that can be problematic. And if you're in Europe, I don't know how you're going to be able to reach out with them without violating GDPR. How are you going to establish a legal basis for with somebody?
Well, Larry, it's been real. I could talk for another couple hours with you easy, but I respect your time. So it's voraciousreaders.com, correct?
No, voraciousreadersonly.com.
Voraciousreadersonly.com. And I'm going to add, it's the best way to get reviews.
I appreciate that.
So,
and then, I hope anybody listening to this, they were able to at least get like one good nugget of information. I always try to look at everything where, can I just get one thing? If I went to a seminar and I only got one good idea, then that's gonna be totally worth it for me. So hopefully you got one good thing at least, but if you got more, then that's awesome. And if anybody had any questions, they can shoot me an email. You can just send it to my general email for Voracious Readers Only, which is mailer@voraciousreadersonly.com. And if that doesn't come through on the audio very well, if you go to the website, just go to the opt-in form, and the email address is on the bottom of that, or you can reach out to me. If you have any questions about what we do, or any recommendations, hey, I'm open to hear anything. You can also contact me through the Voracious Readers Only Facebook page. There's a contact button on there as well.
Awesome, Larry. And that's a nice offer. So I think anybody out there, there were a lot of golden nuggets here for me, for sure. But they're not going to be able to contact you for very long because you're going straight to the top, my friend. I think there's great potential in your service. So thanks again, Larry, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Yeah, if you're a voracious reader, you like to read books and write reviews, you can sign up as a reader on the site, and we'll get you a ton of book offers, and we'll find something that you like. And then if you're an author, you can always sign up for the 20-book giveaway. If you have more than one book you want to try, that's fine. And just go to Voracious Readers Only, click on the author button at the top, and just answer a couple questions, and we'll get you on the schedule. I'd definitely love to work with you if you're an author.
Awesome, Larry. Thanks again.
All right. Thank you. Okay, take care.
Okay, man. I'm going to hit the button. Okay, my friends, if you like that podcast, then remember to go to zbooks.co and go get all the materials to start your authoring career. We have a 7-day challenge every week, so there's no excuse to not finish your book. And remember, please go to iTunes and upvote this podcast and Google Play. Okay, I look forward to seeing you at the top.